Now, you must have clicked on this because you want to know if cross-training actually helps your marathon, or if it's just the faff that steals time from the running. The short answer is that if you do it right, it is a brilliant tool. Done badly, it can just not do anything at all, or it could just add to the fatigue. First of all, I'm Nick Hancock from Maximum Mileage Coaching. I am a USCA ultra running coach and a UK athletics license coach and competitive ultra runner and a sub-3 marathoner with a 250 at London just this year. And I've coached hundreds of runners now to PBs without destroying themselves. And in this video, I am going to give you a simple, no-nonsense framework of when and how to use cross-training, what sessions you can do, how you slot them into your week, how you can train for that marathon without just wasting your time or wrecking your legs. By the end of this video, you will have a decision rule that you can use in under 10 seconds, whether to bike or row or elliptical or use the arc trainer or the stairmaster or just go for a jog. So let's get you that benefit without the faff. First of all, let me set my stall out. Strength training is not cross training. I hate it when people say, oh yeah, I did some cross training today, or a coach will advise somebody to go and do some cross training, and actually what they mean is strength training. That is not cross training. Strength training is strength training. Cross training adds to the aerobic fitness benefit to your running, whereas the strength, that's going to make you strong. So it's not cross training. Now we've got that out of the way, why should you cross train at all? Now, cross training lets you keep building that aerobic engine whilst you spare the tendons, the bones and the joints from that extra pounding of your running. Think of it as aerobic volume with a discount on impact. What does the evidence say? So your aerobic system adapts to intensity and duration, not the brand of the machine or the modality. There is going to be some metabolic payoffs to be running and specificity payoffs. So yes, we do need to be doing as much running as possible within the time constraints and energy constraints that we have, but you can nudge the same energy systems on a bike, on a turbo trainer, on a watt bike, rower, elliptical, you name it. You will hit those same energy systems that you would hit in a run. So what you can do is you can do 1 to 2 times a week where you add 45, 60 minutes easy. Zone 2 conversational on a bike, elliptical, rower. I've actually got some people I coach and myself as well. If you have some additional time and you feel a little bit too fatigued to run, then hell, get yourself a nice easy spin on the bike. It is going to help you recover and it's going to add additional fitness benefits too. If you're doing it on a bike, keep your cadence high. You want to be thinking 90 revolutions per minute on the bike, smooth, quiet strokes, or pedals rather, strokes. Now that's something you could do on the rower. If you're doing it on the bike, thinking about speaking in full sentences is going to be about right. Because the mechanical impact is a bit lower, you could tip it up a little bit to the kind of the top end of zone 2, do a little bit of tempo cycling because the mechanical load is less, but don't hammer yourself. And that is one of the biggest mistakes that you can make is, jumping on the turbo trainer and getting on Zwift, for example, and smashing those Zwift races for the ego benefit. Actually, the fix here is capping that effort and trying to get more volume out of it rather than just hammering yourself. Just think about this. So if you could keep your long run fresher by moving one short easy run to the bike, would you take that trade? I know I would. So a really good use case for cross training is obviously going to be niggles. I say it all the time. If you are injured, then there is usually always something that we can do. You might not be the biggest fan of getting on the bike. You might not be the biggest fan of the elliptical. But the thing with niggles, They love that repeated impact more than they love the effort. Cross training is going to help you to hold on to your fitness whilst things calm down. It's going to help you to even build additional fitness. It's going to add to, it's going to give you different strengths and different, different movement patterns that are then going to translate well into your running. So if you are managing any of those niggles, you've got an injury, here's a little thing you can take away. So for a week, couple of weeks, or however long it's taking you to recover from your injury, if you're working with a physio, first of all, sign it off with them. Just check that you can safely use something like the bike or the elliptical or the rower. But if it's just a niggle, then just think 7 to 14 days where you replace all of the hard running, at least maybe all of the running, but at least the hard running with that bike, with that elliptical. Those two particularly translate really well over into running. Elliptical, if you're training for an ultra at any point and using poles, is brilliant for that motion of using your poles. Keep the same frequency, again, as long as it is safe to do so. You can keep that same frequency vis-a-vis how often you train whilst you're running. You can keep that the same. Maintain those same habits. Don't just go, oh, I'm injured, so I'm not going to do much. I'll just go on the bike once a week just to tick a box. Get on with your training as if it is a normal thing. If you need to, swap some of those easy runs with an easy spin. Definitely swap those intervals. So if you were potentially going to be doing something like 6 to 10 by 3 minutes hard running or moderate tempo running with your running, then do that on the bike instead. You are still going to breathe. You are still going to be working your muscles. It's just whatever that niggle is that you've got is going to thank you. If you are quite new to cross training, vis-a-vis all you do is run, a little mistake will be that if you do pick up a little bit of a niggle and you do follow that advice of going onto a bike, for example, don't try and match everything one for one, because going on the bike is going to be quite new to you. You're going to be going through, your body's going to be going through neuromuscular patterns it's just not used to, and you might end up putting additional fatigue on that you're not used to. So start a little bit lower. Your butt cheeks will also thank you. So yeah, start a little bit lower of that planned run and build only if you are still feeling okay. Just think, if that niggle that you've got today nudges from a 4 out of 10 for pain down to a 1 out of 10, isn't that going to benefit you? Is that going to get you closer to your race day? So cross training is an engine builder. It's going to get you the ability to go faster without that extra pounding. You can improve your threshold and even your top end without battering your legs. It's going to help you, particularly something like a turbo trainer or a watt bike, those high power output races or intervals that you might do on there. They are going to translate quite nicely into. The evidence shows that threshold and VO2 type adaptations respond to time at intensity. The modality matters less than the dosing. And whilst we will always want to be thinking about specificity, you can't just cycle and then go and run a marathon. You're going to need to do some running at some point. It is a great replacement in a temporary or as an addition to your training anyway. So here's 3 proven sessions that I love to use myself, and I give them to some of my runners who have the ability to train on something like a bike or an elliptical. So a threshold ladder, 3 by 10 minutes, comfortably hard. You could say 4 or 5 words at a time, 5 minutes easy in between, and you could then progress later on to doing something like 2 by 15 minutes or 2 by 20 minutes. Another one I love to do is VO2 builders. Quite simply, reps of 3 minutes hard, 3 minutes easy, and depending on where you are in your experience with either cycling or going on a rower or an elliptical, then you could range from something like 4 by 3 minutes hard right up to 8 by 3 minutes hard with 3 minutes easy. Now, when I say hard, keep that power and pace controlled. You don't want your eyes to be bleeding with the strain. A hill climbing situation, this is great on a bike. You can do something like 4 by 6 to 8 minutes where you are seated, low cadence, so keep your cadence low in this circumstances and keep the RPE around about 7 to 10 with a 3 minute easy spin in between each one. And this builds strength endurance that transfers really nicely into marathon pace. So think strategically when you do your cross training. Don't just make the mistake of, some random hit just for the buzz of it. Whilst some of those Zwift sessions can be quite fun, you want to be thinking about progressing your time at quality, not just more reps or some crazy session just for the hell of it. Because think about it, if your goal is 16 to 24k at marathon pace in a few weeks' time, what would help more? Is it going to be that one brutal Zwift session at some high intensity, or is it going to be another one of those sort of 6 to 10 quality threshold minute type sessions and banking that? So whilst my personal opinion is that strength training is not cross training, if you decide that yes it is, Nick, then fine. It probably does have the best return on investment in terms of power output, injury prevention, injury rehabilitation, transferring into durability, then that is the one to be doing. If you only cross train once a week in one way, make it strength. It is going to update that durability of yours. It's going to improve your chassis. It's going to improve your running economy. Those heavy strength sessions with plyometrics, they improve that running economy and the resilience over weeks. That low rep, high quality stuff is going to be super helpful. So if you really want to call strength training cross training, fine, then that's the way to do it. So if you are going to add in cross training into your marathon training week, then where should it go? Where should you fit it? You win this game with one of my major coaching principles, which is easy, hard, easy. Not by stacking hero sessions back to back. Recovery is where adaptation happens, not during training. So easy, hard, easy. So if you're doing a 5-run week, busy but robust, then you could do something like, I love taking Mondays off in general, or something like a 30 to 40 minute easy spin on the turbo trainer with mobility work. Tuesday, this is where your quality session could or should be, as long as that's the day. Traditionally, we do it on Tuesdays, intervals, alternations, that kind of thing. Wednesday, this is where you do another easy run. And if you want to double it, you can double it up. Why not add a easy cycle later on in the day? Thursday, another easy run. 40, 60 minutes, up to 90, but no more. Friday, this is where you get your next session in. If you're doing a long run on the weekend with marathon pace, then keep this one generally easy as well. Or you can add in some elliptical work and another strength session. Saturday, again, keep it easy. And then Sunday, long run, easy at first, and then you can add marathon pace later in the block, or you can do something like alternations or any manner of things. And I've done videos on this, so check out the rest of my channel for some of those marathon paced interval runs. There are any amount of ways to be doing that, whether you run 6 days a week, 4 days a week. There are so many ways to do it, but some of the guardrails that are going to keep you out of trouble. I already mentioned it. Don't put 2 genuinely hard days in a row. If you do a hard bike, then your run the next day should be easy. You can turn the dial up a little bit on the bike because it's mechanically less demanding, but just remember, metabolically, that is going to transfer over into, and potentially some fatigue as well, into the next day. Long run fatigue is going to rule the week. So if your legs are a little bit wooden, come Monday, Tuesday, then maybe shift some of that quality along. Perhaps you could do that Tuesday session on the bike instead, and then move your quality run to the Wednesday. Keep your cross training simple. One machine, one target, no circus. You know, don't be trying to do a little bit of this on the bike, a bit of that on the elliptical, over on the Stairmaster. Just pick one and use that. Fueling. Cross training still needs that fueling. So if you are going to do a session on the bike, perhaps you're a bit older, we shouldn't be doing too much intensity work with our running. If you want to get that additional intensity using the bike, please make sure you still fuel it. Get your carbs in, protein. If you are doing a bike, treat it like a workout. And if you want quick runner-friendly ideas for your meals in general, I used to work in hospitality. I spent 20 years working for some of the most well-known chefs in the world. And I didn't want to eat shit when I was doing my training, when I got into running. So I turned my recipe knowledge into some really simple but really delicious recipes with the cookbook for runners, my ultimate cookbooks for runners. I've got 2 of them, both on Amazon. Just search my name and ultimate cookbook for runners and you'll find them. Loads of delicious options. So when not to cross train, if you're fresh and uninjured and you can handle another easy run without it bleeding into tomorrow's workout. For example, if you have Tuesday session, Wednesday off, Thursday easy run, and you want to get some additional volume in and you've got some time on that Wednesday, brilliant. Do Wednesday. As long as you're not super tired from the Tuesday session, get that additional volume in on the Wednesday. If your easy days keep creeping into moderate, then just dial it back, because we need that volume to be easy. So if you're going to add that additional volume in, make sure it is easy. So what modality should you pick? You've probably guessed it by now because I've mentioned it a few times, but I really do like the bike. It is probably the best all-rounder. It's easy to dose. It's great for threshold and VO2 work. You will sweat like a monster on a turbo trainer or on a watt bike in a gym. And it's great for power output too. Elliptical, probably the closest when it comes to running pattern. Very joint friendly, very boring, but very effective. Rowing, you get big bang for your buck, mind your back. Great for shorter, punchier sessions. I do know some people, in fact, there's one person I coach who can go for quite a long time on it, but he's used to it. Not my idea of fun, but it is a modality that you can get some pretty good stuff done on. There are things like aqua jogging. Never done it myself, but I do know some people that have done it, and it's superb when impact needs to be very little, particularly if you're injured. It is mentally tough from what I'm told, but it is massively specific. Whatever it is, the right one is the one that you will actually do on the days that matter. So earlier I did promise a clear payoff to this video, a little rule that you can take away and make a decision on what cross training you want to do. You've now got the sessions, you've got the weeks, you've got the guardrails. Here's the quick rule that just puts it all together. Use your cross training to add or protect aerobic minutes, not to replace specificity for fun. You are going to be needing to do so use your cross training to add or protect aerobic minutes, not to replace specificity just for the hell of it. Remember, if you're a runner, you need to be running as much as is safely possible. Only add in that cross training when you need it. So that decision rule you can use is, if you are sore, niggled or time crunched and today's run would make tomorrow's key run worse, jump on the bike. Elliptical, 45-60 minutes, zone 2, easy, whatever terminology you want to use there. If not, just run easy and keep it truly easy. If you want some help putting all of this cross-training stuff together into your plans, into your marathon training, then hit me up on the link below. Either myself or my team, we will get in touch with you and we can help you to put those sessions into your life, not just ruin it all and turn you into a decent cyclist but a crap runner. I'll help you get fast. My team will help you get fast. We'll help you get strong. We'll help you run long without the burnout and doing the wrong stuff on those cross training days. And thank you for watching.